The Pacific theater of World War II posed unique and formidable challenges for military planners. With battles fought across thousands of miles of ocean and scattered island chains, success often depended not just on firepower, but on the ability to land troops and equipment directly onto enemy shores. This necessity gave rise to a critical category of machines: amphibious vehicles, versatile, rugged, and capable of traversing both sea and land. These vehicles were essential to the U.S. military's island-hopping strategy, enabling the invasion and liberation of island strongholds like Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Saipan, and Iwo Jima. Below is an overview of the key amphibious vehicles that turned the tide in the Pacific and reshaped modern amphibious warfare. The role of amphibious vehicles in the Pacific. Unlike Europe, where armies could maneuver across vast land masses, the Pacific War was defined by isolated island fortresses and coral-ringed beaches. Traditional landing craft often got stuck on reefs or left troops vulnerable in the surf. Amphibious vehicles bridged this gap, literally and tactically, by ferrying men and supplies from ships directly onto hostile shores and beyond. They were not just transport tools, they were the backbone of amphibious assaults, often going in first under heavy fire and returning under threat to resupply. Key amphibious vehicles of World War II in the Pacific. 1. LVTs, Landing Vehicle Tracked. Amtracs. Purpose: assault and cargo transport over water and rough terrain. Origin: originally designed for civilian hurricane rescue in Florida. Models: LVT-1, LVT-2, LVT-4, LVT-1 armored. Tracked vehicles that could swim through surf and climb over reefs. Carried 20 to 30 troops or several tons of cargo. LVT variants were armed with 37mm or 75mm guns to support infantry. Heavily used in battles like Tarawa, where they could cross coral barriers that stopped conventional landing craft. Impact: LVTs revolutionized amphibious landings by allowing troops to land under armor and fire support, increasing survivability and effectiveness. 2. DUKW, DUK, amphibious truck. Purpose: transport of supplies and personnel from ship to shore. Design: 6-wheeled truck with a watertight hull and propeller. Capacity: 2,500 pounds cargo or up to 25 soldiers. Used primarily for logistics rather than direct assault. Could drive directly from ship ramps into the ocean and up onto beaches. Equipped with a bilge pump, rudder, and propeller for aquatic use. Impact: Dukus were logistical workhorses, used to ferry ammunition, rations, and wounded personnel. Their versatility made them invaluable in sustaining beachheads after initial landings. 3. LCVP, Landing Craft, Vehicle, Personnel, Higgins Boat. Purpose: troop deployment directly onto beaches. Capacity: 36 troops or a jeep with cargo. Design: shallow draft, flat bottom with a bow ramp. Designed by Andrew Higgins and mass-produced in the U.S. Most famous for use in Normandy, Europe, but also heavily used in the Pacific. Could navigate shallow waters and discharge troops quickly under fire. Impact: LCVPs were among the most common amphibious craft of the war. In the Pacific, they were essential for landing the initial waves of infantry in assaults like Saipan and Okinawa. Tactical evolution and challenges. Amphibious vehicles were not without their problems. Tarawa, 1943 LCVPs ran aground on reefs, forcing Marines to wade ashore under machine gun fire. LVTs were critical in rescuing the operation. Iwo Jima, 1945 volcanic sand bogged down vehicles, but LVTs and Dukus continued to supply troops across brutal terrain. Weather and surf could swamp or disable lighter vehicles. Crews had to be trained in both navigation and maintenance. Tactics evolved with experience. By 1944, amphibious operations used waves of LVTs and LCVPs, coordinated with pre-landing bombardment, aerial reconnaissance, and follow-on waves of tanks and artillery. The Amphibious Doctrine. Amphibious vehicles were part of a larger doctrine perfected by the U.S. Marine Corps and Navy. Reconnaissance to determine landing zones. Naval and aerial bombardment to suppress defenses. Amphibious assault waves of LVTs and landing craft. Beachhead establishment with supplies delivered by Dukus and follow-on craft. This model proved increasingly effective, culminating in the successful, though costly, landings on Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Legacy of amphibious vehicles in World War II. The use of amphibious vehicles in the Pacific marked a turning point in military logistics and assault operations. Enabled victories in otherwise inaccessible island battles. Reduced casualties by allowing armored, protected landings. Set the foundation for post-war amphibious doctrine used in Korea, Vietnam, and beyond. Many of the technologies pioneered in these World War II vehicles influenced the development of modern amphibious assault ships, hovercraft, and armored amphibious personnel carriers. Conclusion. Amphibious vehicles in the Pacific Theater were more than machines, they were enablers of strategy. They allowed the Allies to conquer an ocean of islands, overcome natural barriers, and breach fortified beaches that might have otherwise become impassable slaughterhouses. Whether storming ashore under fire in an LVT or hauling critical supplies inland in a DUKW, these steel boats on land were unsung heroes of the island-hopping campaign and helped carry the Allies to ultimate victory over Imperial Japan.